I know, I know. Well, good morning, Action Zone. As Rosie affectionately calls you all Zonies, we're super excited to have Mercy join us from Raymond James Valor Network today. If you're in Tampa Bay and you haven't met Mercy, it's probably because you haven't been out. Because she is everywhere doing amazing things for the veteran community. Mercy, we just share with the audience a little bit about you and your background, your military background, and what you do for Raymond James.
Yeah, absolutely. Val, thank you so much for having me. Action Zone Zonies, thank you for having me this morning. Good morning, everyone. As Val mentioned, my name is Ameyaw Aston, and I'm a director and a trader at Raymond James Financial. We are headquartered in St. Pete, Florida, which is how I got to meet Val. On my day-to-day job, I trade municipal bonds instead of stocks. At Raymond James, I'm also the co-chair for our National Veterans Inclusion Network. It's called Valor, which is essentially our national business resource group for veterans. I retired from the U.S. Army in 2019 after about 17 years of service. I was medically retired after suffering some detrimental injuries during my last deployment. And it was obviously a blessing and to be able to retire medically. But, you know, obviously miss the military life and happy to connect with people like Val and organizations such as hers, which obviously keeps us all connected. In my last duty station, I was a platoon sergeant and acting first sergeant for a selectively manned Joint Airborne Communication Squadron under SOTF HQ. We were what we call initial entry package squadron, deployed frequently worldwide within 18 hours of notification in direct support of regional combatant commanders, or for contingencies ranging from major theater war to humanitarian assistance, disaster relief operations. So it was a very exciting lifetime to go from that and now being in the finance world.
That's a huge change in industries and job responsibilities. That's funny. And so tell us a little bit more about the Valor Network. You said you're the national co-chair. Give us a broad overview, and then how the national program and the local programs work.
Yeah, the exciting part about creating something like Valor is within Raymond James, and they've been so amazingly supportive about what we want to do. Valor generally aims to support veteran community organizations nationwide, and we do it through national and local outreach programs. We partner with local veteran organizations such as Action Zone across the country to collaborate, support, promote, and really amplify each other and fellow veterans and spouses in their communities and nationwide. I would say we have very targeted remit in terms of recruiting and retention, from helping and mentoring transitioning veterans out of uniform into a corporate setting, community outreach and engagement, really collaborating with organizations such as Val's Action Zone, figuring out what they're doing in the community, and seeing how we can help and support them, whether it's financially or from a marketing perspective, whatever they need, honestly, from a business needs perspective. And then also we have a big military spouse program, which ties into our recruiting and retention. Everybody knows military spouses have a whole different challenge when it comes to getting hired in the corporate or any other sector, just because unless you understand what and who a military spouse is and what they've done in service, honestly, to a community, most people don't understand their resumes or what they bring to the table. So we really partner with the Military Spouse Employment Partnership and see if we can actually bridge that gap and mentor them and help them transition as well. And lastly, we hold an annual golf tournament fundraiser that it's basically used to raise money to engage all the different initiatives that I've mentioned here. The initiatives that we have mentioned obviously take money to get it done. And we are very much about, let's not just talk about helping veterans. I'm all about what Tom James money can we raise to help veterans? Like, where can we make the most impact? And what we realize when we're talking about national and local nonprofits is a lot of organizations, including ours, Raymond James, always aim and support these huge veteran nonprofits. We're talking about the Wounded Warrior Project, Navy SEAL Foundation, all these really big names, right? The ones the celebrities all talk about and give money to, which is fantastic. And we as a firm, Raymond James, do support those large organizations, but then you actually miss out on smaller local ones like Action Zone specifically, who are literally boots on ground, helping. They know veterans, they know their names, they know where their families are, they know what they've been through, they know their story, and they're helping them one-on-one on the ground. And it becomes a word to mouth with these smaller organizations where veterans get to refer other veterans to it. When I came back from my last deployment and had really difficult time medically and other challenges to transition in, it wasn't the larger veteran nonprofits that actually helped me. It was the smaller ones at home, the ones where I had battle buddies that said, hey, go to this team. They actually do help. You know, the smaller team mentality that we really like to furnish in the military, and that camaraderie that we're so used to. You are more likely, I've seen anyway, to see that in the smaller local organizations. And so we are really attached to figuring out how to financially elevate and support and amplify those organizations. And we're so excited to see how those organizations function. It's amazing to go out in Florida and meet someone who was helped by Action Zone, or just bump into someone and say, hey, Action Zone is doing, you know, basically I call it a trunk show, so you can come kind of see all these different veterans and these ideas that they have for a new organization, whether it's a nonprofit or whatever. And you get to actually walk in the door and see what they're doing. You get to see where your money is going, where your donation's going, where that support is going. And there's nothing better than that, honestly. And that's why, you know, community outreach is probably the heart of everything that we do for Valor.
Well, that's awesome. You answered all of my questions I was going to ask. No, I mean, Action Zone really appreciates the Valor Network and the support it's provided to us locally. Not only the support, you know, helping us get the word out that Action Zone is a resource for our veteran and military spouse entrepreneurs, not only in the Tampa Bay area, the Central Florida area, but throughout the state. But introducing us to other smaller nonprofits locally, like you said, boots on the ground, to see how we can collaborate, share resources, share knowledge, and and support each other. I've referred veterans and their family members to so many of the organizations that are part of the local Tampa Bay Valor Network, and had it not been for our regular, you know, meetings, I would have probably never known that those organizations were there. To provide resources to them.
I think you're so right. And I really wish, Val, I say this all the time. I was like, I wish there was someone who would take over this, right? So Val mentioned one of the things we do also is Raymond James Valor is now acting as sort of a nexus between all these different nonprofit, veteran nonprofit partners we actually engage with. So I think we're up to maybe 39 different nonprofits now. Some of them have national chapters, some of them are just local. But we always thought, as we started working with different nonprofits and meeting people such as yourself, we're just like, oh, they're doing this. That would be really cool if they actually talk to so-and-so who's doing this. Like, I think their veterans could definitely use this, right? And we don't know what we don't know. And one of the best things about Florida specifically is that there's so many veteran nonprofit and support groups, right? And one of the worst things about us as veterans, we're just siloed. We're just kind of like, this is our mission, this is what we're doing, this is our network. And it's great because we get it done, but we are missing out on that camaraderie piece, right? But because we don't know what we don't know. Mm-hmm. And I haven't found a good database or group that actually brings all of it together to say, hey, you're doing this, you support veteran rehabilitation, TBI support, mental health, recruiting, retention, you know, job placement, yada, yada. You guys should talk to this. I haven't found that. And so when we started realizing the similarities with the nonprofits we were supporting, it became an idea of why don't we all just talk, you know, starting once a month to once a quarter, get everybody together and say, hey, what are you doing? And, you know, like you mentioned, once you say, hey, this is what we're doing, and another veteran nonprofit on the call says, hey, we actually do this, and we were looking to do more of that. Can we partner? And it is fantastic to hear, because as veteran supporters and, you know, nonprofit owners such as yourself, you're not in competition with anybody. The more veterans you help, the better. And I think we are maybe just a starting point in getting some of those conversations going. My vision is someday some chamber or someone creates, you know, an organization where they actually bring everybody together, which I think would be so cool. Even if you do an annual, I don't know, veteran nonprofit conference, whatever. I'm just throwing stuff out there. But it's been awesome just engaging with organizations such as yours and seeing how what you do ended up fitting so well with what another organization does. So we're going to keep doing that as long as we can. But it's really great to meet and partner with organizations such as yours and just see it in action all the time.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you so much. You know, Mercy, you're such a champion for, you know, the efforts to support the military community, whether it's the veteran or the spouse, the family members, even active duty. I know that you're involved a little bit with some of the active duty activities
Yeah.
To support our military family members. And one of the things that I think Action Zone so quickly connected with the Valor Network, beyond what I had already stated, is that the focus on the small nonprofits that are making huge impact. You know, Action Zone, we focus on the small business owners that are what I've coined the quality of life businesses.
Yeah.
You know, the ones that we can frequent a couple of blocks from our neighborhoods that make living where we want to live, Tampa Bay, incredible. You know, it's not that, and we need big companies like Raymond James and Jabil and ReliaQuest, but if they have their employees here and their employees hate living here, or we become a DC where everybody's like commuting 2 hours to and from just to have a little bit of quality of life, you know, we don't want that. So supporting those quality of life and the young entrepreneurs and the dog biscuits and the beer breweries and, you know, the marketing companies, you know, and the staffing companies, cybersecurity, it doesn't matter. The small business owners need to be recognized, and you know, Valor Network helps us do that.
I love that. I'm so excited for one day soon to come see. I think I forgot what you called it. It's when you do, I forgot. It's when you do some. I think it's like a showcase of your
like the pitch competition,
the
business, small business. Yeah.
Well,
our next cohort starts October 7th. So if you're not traveling, you're welcome to come. It's a Saturday. So I will drop the link for applications because they're still accepting applications.
Okay.
And you can hear testimony from previous attendees, you know, Action Zone alumni, get to hear the new businesses that we're going to help start, build, and grow. Yeah, we're pretty excited about that. But before I let you go, because I know you've got trading to do, tell a little bit more about the golf tournament, because I know you're still seeking sponsorships, right?
Yes. So like we mentioned, the annual golf tournament, is our biggest fundraiser throughout the year. And we are a little bit different than a regular golf tournament because obviously, 100% of the proceeds raised go directly to veteran nonprofit this year, including Action Zone. So last year, I think we were able to, this is our 5th annual. Last year, we were able to raise about $127K and donate it to about 13 local veteran nonprofits.
Wow.
This year, we have about 18 veteran nonprofits we want to raise money for, so even more money raised. What we do is we're sold out of foursomes. We usually have a bunch of different corporate sponsors from Raymond James, our partners, FTI Consulting, Jabil, all different ones that usually sign up to just sponsor the event, have their names shown up. And what's different about our tournament is as players play and golfers play, at every different hole, we have our different nonprofits set up in a booth so that they can engage with them. So it's really figuring out where's your money going? And you have an opportunity to talk to these different nonprofits, which includes Action Zone this year, set up to tell you, this is what we do, this is why it's important, this is why our mission's worthy, and this is where your money is going to go. And it's so great and fascinating to see how much more relationships are built from this. And even after the tournament, some of these different players and sponsors, corporate sponsors themselves, decide to reach out to our vet nonprofits on their own, because they're like, wow, I didn't realize so-and-so was just in my backyard and they do all of this, right? And more relationships are performed and more funds hopefully are generated specifically for their organization. So we do our first part of getting, I call it the initial cut check donation cut, but we want to cultivate those relationships between the public and private sector, right? The corporate side, which may not know that Action Zone exists and is doing these fantastic things in their neighborhood, to be able to speak to Action Zone and really leverage that time with them. It's such a fun tournament. We always partner and sponsor with Four Soldier Bourbon, who are amazing. Our main speaker is the founder, one of the co-founders of Four Soldier Bourbon this year, along with Medal of Honor recipient Gary Luttrell and Purple Heart recipient Zeke Crozier, who also come attend the event and actually hand out their challenge coins to the winners. So it's a big deal. If you win, you get ready to find someone at a bar and challenge them. It's a very big deal. Lastly, the way we engage everyone across the country is through an online raffle, and that actually helps us raise a ton of money. If you go to, and I think you'll include the link somewhere, but rjvalor.com/play, you'll see our golf tournament and a link to our raffle. Now, the raffle is fantastic because anyone, your mom, your dad, friends across the country can go online and buy tickets for it. If you win, we announce it on the day of the tournament, 10/28, and we ship you your present or email it depending what type of raffle item it is. But we have some really cool items, from Southwest, Delta Airlines round trip tickets to nights at the Carroll or Edition Hotel to Royal Caribbean Cruises, and actually pitching doing the first pitch at the Rays game. That's one of the ones too, which somebody won, and it was pretty cool. But we have so many fun stuff that you can share with your family and friends, and you're knowing that you're participating in this raffle. Every cent you donate to, with the ticket being $30, it's going right back to veterans, nonprofits, and their families. And so really, really would love your Zonies help and the Facebook world, if you're there recording, yeah, you can see us. Send it to all your family, friends. It's such a fun raffle, but it's what I call, party for a purpose. Everything you're doing, every moment that leads up to the tournament, every single dollar that leads up to the tournament is guaranteed to go back to one of our veteran nonprofits, which I think just feels good. So a ticket's for $30, I think 3 for $50 and 8 for $100. So rjvalor.com/play, you'll be able to see all the phenomenal things, and we're always adding new things. So if you just want to participate that way, that's great. If you're a local business that want your sign displayed at our golf tournament in Innisbrook, which is a pretty great area, right? We play where Valspar happens every year, and it's a fun tournament. We can also do whole sponsorships that start at $2,500, just to get your name out there, and you can come and obviously participate in the golf tournament as well. So I appreciate this opportunity, Valerie, to sort of promote what we're doing and seeing how we can all help each other.
Well, we appreciate you, Raymond James and the Valor Network. And yes, Action Zone will be there. We graciously will accept any donation, and everybody wants to see Rosie and give her a big hug. So Rosie will be there. So everybody come visit with me and Rosie and Kashima, and you get to meet Mercy in person.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Mercy. Appreciate you.
Well,
I will drop a ton of links in the chat for the people who will be watching this afterwards, since it is 9 a.m. on Monday morning.
Yes. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Good day.